Here's a short story about Dickhead and the Fuckers. Once upon a time, there was a dickhead named Dickhead. Dickhead was known to be a terrible person, always causing trouble and stirring up drama. He was joined by the bunch of motherfuckers who always backed him up and supported his shenanigans. The Dickhead and the Fuckers were a tough group to deal with, known for their mischievous pranks and wild parties. As the Dickhead and the Fuckers continued their reign of terror, the people of the town grew tired of their antics. They were fed up with the Dickhead's bad attitude and the Fucker's constant support for his behavior. However, nobody had the guts to confront the group directly, as they were all feared and respected in their own way. Let's call the protagonist of this story Jim. Here's how the story could continue. One day, Jim, a young and fearless person, decided that enough was enough. He couldn't stand the Dickhead's bad behavior and the Fucker's constant backing up any longer. Determined to put an end to their reign, Jim decided to confront them head on. Jim had a difficult past with the Dickhead and the Fuckers. They had bullied him in high school, making his life a living nightmare. They would tease him, make fun of him, and even physically attack him on occasion. Jim had always been too scared to stand up to them, and they took advantage of his timid nature. The Dickhead got his nickname because of his harsh, insensitive attitude towards others. He had a habit of saying things without thinking and had no filter when it came to his opinions, no matter how rude or hurtful they might be. As for the nickname given to the group as a whole, they were given the nickname the Fuckers because of their group's habit of screwing up things and creating problems for others. Let's move on to the confrontation between Jim and the Dickhead and the Fuckers. Here's how the scene could play out. Jim had been planning his confrontation for weeks. He knew that he couldn't fight the Dickhead and the Fuckers alone, so he had gathered a few of his friends who were willing to stand by him. Taking a deep breath, Jim walked into the room where the Dickhead and the Fuckers were hanging out, ready to confront them. The Dickhead and the Fuckers looked up, surprised to see Jim standing there with a group of friends behind him. The Dickhead sneered and said, "What do you want, shrimp? You got a death wish or something, coming in here all cocky like that?" Jim was nervous, but he stood his ground. "I'm tired of your bullshit, Dickhead. I'm done letting you get away with making my life a living hell. We need to settle this once and for all." The Fuckers looked at Jim and his friends, sizing them up. One of them spoke up. "You really think you stand a chance against us, little man?" Jim swallowed the lump in his throat and said, "I may not be as strong as you all are, but I'm not backing down. I'm done letting you push me around." The Dickhead chuckled and said, "Oh, look at you, all brave and mighty. But let me tell you something, shrimp. You have no idea what you're getting yourself into." The Fuckers began to surround Jim and his friends, forming a circle around them. Tensions were high, and the room was dead silent. The Dickhead stepped closer to Jim, closing the gap between them. "You really think you can take on all of us, huh? You must be dumber than you look." Jim's heart was pounding in his chest, but he kept his composure. "I don't need to take you down by myself. I have friends who are willing to fight with me." The Fuckers laughed at Jim's words. One of them said, "Oh, look at that. He has friends. How sweet." Another one chimed in, "Too bad they won't be able to do much." But Jim's friends stood their ground, ready to defend him. They might not have been the strongest or most intimidating, but they were willing to fight. Seeing that Jim's friends weren't backing down, the Dickhead grew angry. "You're really asking for it now, shrimp. You and your friends better hope you know what you're getting into." Suddenly, one of the Fuckers stepped forward and pushed Jim's friend. "We're getting tired of your smart mouth. Maybe it's time to shut you up for good." Jim and his friends tensed up, ready for a fight. However, the Dickhead intervened before things could escalate further. "Wait a minute. Let's not get too carried away here." The Dickhead looked at Jim and his friends. "You have some guts, I'll give you that. But you're way out of your league here. We run this place, and you're nothing but ants to us." Jim clenched his fists, but he knew that the Dickhead was right. They were outnumbered and outclassed. But he wasn't going to give up that easily. "Maybe you do run this place, but that doesn't give you the right to bully anyone who's weaker than you." The Dickhead laughed again. "You're a funny little guy, you know that? But this is our territory, and we make the rules here. So you better crawl back to where you came from before you get hurt." The Dickhead smirked, enjoying the power he held over them. "What, you giving up already? I thought you were going to fight us?" Jim took a deep breath, knowing that he had to defuse the situation. We're not giving up. We just don't want this to turn into a fight. The dickhead raised an eyebrow. What do you suggest then? You want to just walk away and forget this happened? Jim nodded. That's what I suggest. We'll leave and won't bother you again. The dickhead looked skeptical but shrugged. Fine, but if I ever see you around here again, you better watch your back. Jim, fed up with the dickhead's attitude, suddenly lunged forward and punched him in the back of the head. The dickhead stumbled, caught off guard by the unexpected attack. His friends gasped in surprise. The headshot left the dickhead disoriented, and his friends were caught off guard by the sudden attack. Seeing that their leader was hurt, the fuckers panicked and began to flee. Meanwhile, Jim's friends and some onlookers who had been watching the situation unfold cheered for Jim. Word began to spread throughout the school about what had happened, turning Jim into an unexpected hero. Yes, that's a good place to end the story. Jim stands up to the dickhead and the fuckers, defending himself and his friends, and emerges as a hero in the process.